Have you ever wondered why the world mocks what it does not understand? People will tell you that abstinence is weakness, that to live without sex is to live in emptiness, that resisting desire is to lose the very essence of life. But what if I told you the opposite is true? What if I told you that when you go without sex, your energy does not fade away? It multiplies. That the loneliness you feel late at night, the strange dreams that stir your sleep, the sudden waves of fire rising through your chest and spine are not accidents, but signs of a transformation so sacred that only the chosen are able to endure it. You were never created to waste your power as the world does. You were not designed to scatter your energy into fleeting pleasures that vanish as quickly as they appear. You were set apart to carry a mantle of divine authority, a mantle that demands discipline, separation, and fire. Every single moment, you resist the pull of the flesh, you are not losing anything. You are building something invisible, something eternal. You are gaining access to dimensions of power that others will never touch. This is why your body responds the way it does. The tightness in your chest, the vibrations climbing your spine, the dreams that are too vivid to be dismissed. These are not signs of weakness. They are confirmations from heaven, proof that you are crossing into a level of spirit where few ever walk. And here lies the forbidden truth. The world will never tell you this. It cannot. Because if every chosen one discovered the secret hidden in abstinence, the entire system of control would collapse. Abstinence is not death. Nothing is dying within you. In truth, something far greater is being born. The very fire of creation, the same energy that fuels the stars, begins to awaken in you. It rises, transforms, and refines. This is not suppression. This is transmutation. The alchemy of flesh into spirit, desire into destiny, longing into divine power. And now, chosen one, I want you to seal this moment. Write one word in the comments: fire, because that is what is awakening within you. Let it be your declaration, your covenant, your signal to heaven and to yourself that you are ready to rise. And if you have not yet, subscribe now, not as a routine click, but as a step of alignment. Every subscription is a declaration that you are part of the remnant who refuse to waste their energy and instead choose to carry the fire. Chosen one, understand this clearly. You were never called to live as the world lives. You were called to carry what the world cannot hold. And that fire is only entrusted to those who prove they can contain it. The world has taught you to believe that abstinence is a form of death, that when you withhold your body from its cravings, something vital withers inside you. They will say that you are denying your nature, that you are suppressing the essence of life. But chosen one, listen carefully. What the world calls suppression, heaven calls transformation. For the chosen, abstinence is not emptiness. It is not subtraction. It is multiplication. Every pulse of desire you resist does not vanish into nothingness. It is redirected. It rises, it changes, it evolves into a force beyond flesh. This is the mystery the ancients guarded. Sexual energy, when withheld from waste, becomes fire. A fire that does not stay where it was born, but climbs. It ascends, like a storm of light up the channels of your being, as though unseen hands are guiding it toward higher realms of your existence. At first, this process feels confusing, even alarming. Heat gathers at the base of your spine. Your body trembles for no clear reason. A vibration begins to hum through your bones. Your chest tightens. Your skin tingles as though electricity is coursing through it. You may feel restless, unable to sleep, shaken by dreams too vivid to dismiss. But this is not illness. This is not anxiety. This is the signature of transmutation, the sacred alchemy by which the energy of flesh becomes fuel for spirit. What The world wastes in moments of impulse. You are storing as concentrated power. What others scatter into emptiness, you are refining into essence. It is as if heaven itself gathers every spark you chose not to release and pours it back into your being, as lightning, as voltage, as flame. This is why abstinence is never neutral. It is either torment for the undisciplined or transformation for the chosen. And as this fire rises, something profound begins to happen. Dormant centers within you, places of perception, of intuition, of spiritual sight, begin to awaken. They glow like coals receiving oxygen, one after another, unlocking parts of your spirit you never knew existed. Your awareness sharpens. Your emotions intensify, not in chaos, but in clarity. You sense things before they happen. You feel the invisible currents moving around you. Life itself begins to whisper, and for the first time you can hear. Yet this awakening is not gentle. Fire never caresses. It burns. It strips away illusions. It consumes what no longer belongs. Old habits suddenly feel unbearable. Old pleasures lose their grip. Old connections cannot follow you because they are not built to withstand the heat now flowing through your veins. The fire of transmutation is not here to comfort you. It is here to recreate you. Understand this. The reason abstinence feels so intense is not because you are losing. It is because you are being rebuilt. The tension you feel in your chest is the stretching of your soul as it makes room for higher frequencies. The surges of energy in your body are confirmations that heaven is rewiring your vessel for a power greater than desire. What once was bound to the lower nature is now being claimed by the higher. Flesh weeps at this loss. Spirit rejoices at this gain. This is why the world fears abstinence. If every chosen one knew what you are beginning to experience, the entire system of control would collapse. Because a person who has mastered their energy cannot be enslaved by it. A soul who carries fire within cannot be manipulated by shadows. The one who transmutes desire into destiny becomes untouchable because they are no longer ruled by impulse but by light. Chosen one, never mistake this fire for loss. It is birth. It is the awakening of the same force that fuels the stars, now burning inside you, and once it begins, there is no going back. When the fire of transmutation begins its ascent, it does not whisper. It does not tiptoe quietly through your soul. It surges upward like lightning climbing a mountain, shaking everything it touches. This is not a smooth or comfortable process. It is disruptive. It is volcanic. The sexual energy that once burned only in the lower chambers of the body refuses to remain confined. It demands elevation. It collides with your inner centers of perception, and when it does, there are eruptions, detonations of awareness so powerful they feel like your very consciousness is being remade from the inside out. The first explosion often happens in the mind. A pressure begins to form in the space between your eyebrows, not as pain, but as pulsing, as though an unseen hand is knocking from the inside of your forehead, insisting to be noticed. At night, your dreams no longer feel like dreams. They sharpen into visions with color, sound, and clarity more vivid than waking life itself. You open your eyes in the morning and wonder, did I sleep or did I just travel? These visions are not random. They are maps, blueprints, revelations carefully placed into your spirit, preparing you for a future not yet written in flesh, but already alive in eternity. Then, without warning, the visions spill into daylight. You are speaking with someone and you hear their words before they leave their lips. You think of a name and the phone rings. You sense emotions they tried to bury, and suddenly they are exposed before you without confession. At times, entire scenes flash in your awareness, moments not yet unfolded in time. And when they manifest, you realize you were never guessing. You were remembering. The world calls these coincidences, but coincidences cannot occur with such ruthless precision. Numbers repeat again and again on clocks, receipts, and signs until you realize reality itself has been trying to speak. Conversations align with thoughts you had in silence. Events unfold as though they were waiting for your frequency to trigger them. You are no longer a passive participant in reality. You have become a conductor, and life itself rearranges its notes in response to your presence. Strangers sense it. They meet your eyes, and something within them stirs. Without knowing why, they confess secrets buried for years. They feel a weight lift simply by being near you. Animals respond to your calm in ways that defy explanation. Children stare with unbroken curiosity, as though they see something adults have forgotten how to recognize. Even nature bends in subtle ways. The wind shifting, birds gathering, silence deepening, as though creation itself acknowledges the current flowing through you. But these explosions of consciousness are not without cost. The boundary between the physical and the spiritual begins to blur. At times you wonder if you are dreaming while awake or remembering the future while standing in the present. You question your own mind. You ask yourself, am I losing touch with reality? But deep down you know the answer, no. This is not madness. This is expansion. Your nervous system is being stretched to carry voltage it was never taught to bear. Your brain is being rewired to hold visions beyond time. Your soul is being awakened to frequencies the world does not have language for. And with this expansion comes isolation. Because those around you cannot understand why you seem restless, why you gaze into distance as though listening to something they cannot hear, why your words carry weight that unsettles their comfort. To them, you may appear distracted, detached, even strange. But in truth, you are stepping into the same current that prophets, seers, and visionaries carried through history. The current that does not allow you to fit in. The current that marks you as set apart. Chosen one, do not mistake this intensity for danger. These explosions are confirmations. They are the proof that your energy is no longer trapped in flesh, but has ignited spirit. They are heaven's fingerprints on your consciousness, pressing you beyond the limits of the ordinary. You are not just awake, you are awakened. And once awakened, there is no returning to sleep. Every chosen soul who carries divine fire will inevitably be led into the furnace of testing. And this furnace does not roar with visible flames. It does not appear as open war, with armies and banners. No, it comes quietly. It comes in silence. It comes in the hidden chambers of your being where no one else can see, where no applause is heard, and where no one will cheer you on. It comes in abstinence. At first, abstinence feels like victory. You feel lighter, more focused, more aware. Your heart is steady, your mind is sharp, and your spirit feels untouchable. You tell yourself, I can do this. I have conquered. But then, the true test begins. Suddenly, memories from your past awaken. Someone you thought was gone forever sends a message, their timing impossibly perfect. Invitations appear out of nowhere. Strangers take notice of you with unusual intensity. Doors you never knocked on seem to open. Not doors of opportunity, but doors of temptation. These moments are not accidents. They are examinations placed precisely in your path to reveal whether you are ruler of your flesh or servant to it. And, while the external tests press against you, the most dangerous battle rages within. Your own thoughts turn traitor. At night, whispers fill your mind. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to prove? Everyone else is free. Why cage yourself? You are wasting your time, your youth, your life. These whispers sound like your own voice, but they are strategies designed to break your will, to lure you back into the gravity of mediocrity. For the supreme test is not merely about lust. It is about whether you will surrender to the illusion of normality or rise into the authority of destiny. And then comes the ridicule. Family members may notice your change and call you distant, isolated, obsessed. Friends may laugh at your discipline, saying you are extreme, that you are wasting your life. Even those who love you will not understand why you refuse to bow to the impulses everyone else indulges in freely. To them, your transformation looks like madness. But to heaven, it looks like refinement. To the divine, it looks like you are being prepared for authority. This is the razor's edge upon which many chosen ones stumble. The loneliness grows heavy, the misunderstanding cuts deep, the temptation burns like fire in your veins, and countless souls collapse here, convincing themselves that the cost is too high. They surrender to what feels easy, and in doing so abandon what was eternal. But those who endure, those who hold their ground even when shadows circle them, even when their flesh screams, even when ridicule becomes deafening, those are the ones who emerge carrying a mantle unshakable. Every no whispered in the silence is not just resistance to desire. It is a thunderous yes to destiny. Every act of restraint engraves your name deeper into eternity, announcing to heaven that you are worthy of the fire entrusted to you. The intensity of your trial is not proof of weakness. It is evidence of your potential. The greater the pressure, the greater the promise. The fiercer the battle, the heavier the crown waiting on the other side. God will not release true power into an untested vessel. The fire of abstinence is the crucible where he proves the heart, where he refines the soul, where he forges warriors out of fragile flesh. So if you feel the furnace closing in, if you sense the loneliness pressing, the temptation clawing, at your resolve the voices mocking your discipline, remember this: you are not failing. You are being refined. You are not abandoned. You are being watched by heaven, tested by fire, prepared for authority. And now I ask you to seal this moment. Write one word in the comments: strength. Let it be your declaration, not as empty ritual, but as covenant. Let it be a witness to your soul, to the unseen, to heaven itself, that you will not bow to desire, you will not bend to ridicule, you will not betray your calling. Let the world call it madness. Let friends call it obsession. Let flesh call it emptiness. Heaven calls it strength, because this is the supreme test, and those who endure it will rise with authority that shakes realms. Chosen one, there comes a moment in your journey when abstinence ceases to feel like resistance and begins to reveal its hidden purpose. What once felt like denial, what once felt like emptiness, suddenly erupts into recognition. You were never being starved. You were being forged. The fire you carried in silence has now been purified, redirected, magnified. And heaven, watching in secrecy, now entrusts you with something rare and terrifying in its beauty: divine authority. Authority is not like power as the world imagines it. Power demands attention, manipulates outcomes, and boasts of control. Authority needs none of these. True authority is silent but undeniable. It is the weight of your presence shifting a room without a word. It is when your silence pierces deeper than speeches, when your eyes disarm masks people have worn for decades, when even shadows retreat because your very frequency burns against them. You begin to notice it first in subtle ways. You walk into a gathering and the atmosphere bends. Some feel peace they cannot explain, as though your presence is sanctuary. Others grow restless, fidgeting under the unseen light you carry. Strangers confess burdens to you they never told anyone, as if their soul recognizes a safe place it has searched for all its life. Animals are drawn to you. Children stare with unshakable focus. Even nature itself seems to respond. The air stills, silence thickens, the ordinary feels touched by mystery. This is not coincidence, it is evidence. The fire refined in private is now manifesting in public. Your dreams intensify, but they are no longer just strange visions. They are detailed instructions, blueprints. You wake not with questions, but with clarity. And when you obey the guidance you receive, you watch reality bend. Doors swing open that should have been locked. Obstacles dissolve before you arrive. Opportunities align with such precision that it cannot be human design. This is divine orchestration responding to your alignment. Even your words begin to carry force. You speak blessings over someone, and days later they call you in awe because the breakthrough came exactly as you declared. You whisper protection in prayer, and the danger that was supposed to strike never touches you. What you release into the atmosphere no longer fades like echoes. It takes root, it manifests, it creates. This is authority. Heaven has chosen to funnel its power through your vessel because you proved you would not squander what was entrusted to you. And yet, authority is not for your ego. It is not for self-exaltation. It is for stewardship. It is for carrying what others cannot, for speaking light where others only spread noise, for standing firm where others crumble. Authority is weight, not crown. Responsibility, not applause. It is evidence that God has tested your vessel in the silence of abstinence and found it trustworthy to carry what could destroy those unprepared. Chosen one, this is why your abstinence mattered. This is why the fire had to rise. This is why the temptations were so intense. Because heaven does not release authority cheaply. It is forged in resistance, in denial, in nights where your flesh screamed, but your spirit whispered, "Not yet." And now, because you endured, you are walking in a dimension where your presence itself becomes a decree, where your voice reshapes the unseen, where your frequency carries the resonance of heaven. You no longer merely survive. You reign, not as the world reigns, but as one who has aligned their energy with the divine current of creation. You do not demand, you embody. You do not strive, you radiate. This is divine authority, the inheritance of those who refused to bow, who refused to waste, who refused to break, and once it is unlocked, chosen one, it cannot be taken away. Chosen one, everything you have endured, every moment of silence, every sleepless night, every battle in the furnace of abstinence, has been leading here. The world may have called it loss. Your flesh may have called it emptiness. Those around you may have called it madness. But heaven has always called it preparation. And preparation always carries a reward. Not a small reward, not a temporary prize, but an inheritance so vast it touches every part of your being and spills into the lives of those connected to you. At first, the reward comes quietly. You notice that desires which once roared like storms now whisper faintly, powerless against the flame within you. Temptations that once shook you now feel hollow, as if the hooks have been broken. What once drained your energy no longer has power to touch you. You begin to realize that abstinence has not weakened you. It has made you unshakable. But soon, the overflow cannot be hidden. It becomes visible in your life. Blessings begin to gather around you in ways too precise to be explained away as coincidence. A door opens just when you need it. Provision arrives from unexpected places. People of influence are drawn to your presence without knowing why. You are not striving, you are not chasing, you are not begging. Life itself is rearranging to honor the frequency you now carry. The energy you once withheld is now magnetizing everything aligned with your destiny. And this is the secret. Heaven never asks without giving back. Every tear you cried, every ache you endured, every temptation you resisted was not wasted. It was seed. And what happens to seeds hidden in the soil? They multiply. They break open. They push through the darkness, and they rise into harvest. What you thought was subtraction was always multiplication in disguise. But the overflow is not only external. The true reward begins within you. A new joy arises, one not tied to circumstances. A joy that cannot be stolen because it does not depend on what is happening around you but on the fire alive inside you. Peace settles into your soul, steady and immovable, even when storms rage outside. Purpose clarifies, sharpening like a sword, cutting through confusion and showing you exactly why you were set apart. And from this inner transformation, the external blessings naturally flow. Prosperity comes, but not the fragile prosperity of the world. Prosperity that cannot be stolen because it is rooted in alignment, not in chance. Love comes, but not the shallow intimacy of fleeting moments. Love that is sacred, holy, divinely timed, a union designed before the foundation of the world. Miracles come, not as rare surprises, but as a natural atmosphere surrounding your life. Authority deepens, not as arrogance, but as undeniable presence. And yet, the most profound of all rewards is intimacy, not first with another person, but with God Himself. Abstinence has purified the channel of your being, making you a vessel, capable of carrying His presence without distortion. You will feel Him in your breath. You will sense Him in your silence. You will hear Him in your dreams. The union between your spirit and His spirit becomes so real that you no longer wonder if you are guided. You know. Then, at the right time, intimacy in human form arrives. And it will not resemble what you once knew. It will not be born of lust, but of purpose. It will not drain you, but multiply you. It will not distract you from destiny, but propel you into it. Your soul will recognize the one written for you, and together your energies will not only satisfy, but sanctify. This is why you had to wait. This is why you had to endure. Because what God is preparing for you cannot be compared to what the world offered you in counterfeits. But the overflow does not stop with you. It flows outward. Your family begins to feel the ripple of your discipline. Generational cycles that enslaved your bloodline begin to break, curses dissolve. Doors once shut for decades open suddenly. The authority you now carry spills into your lineage, rewriting destinies yet unborn. Your sacrifice becomes their freedom. Your yes becomes their inheritance. And beyond family, the overflow touches your environment. Communities shift, atmospheres bend. Strangers feel peace when you walk into the room. Enemies lose power when you stand in prayer. Your presence becomes a sanctuary for the weary and a terror to darkness. This is no longer about you alone. Heaven has multiplied your sacrifice into blessing for many. Chosen one, look closely. You have not been deprived. You have been multiplied. You have not been left empty. You have been prepared for overflow. The silence was planting. The fire was refining. The loneliness was birthing. And now the harvest is rising. You will walk in prosperity that cannot be stolen. You will carry authority that cannot be resisted. You will know love that cannot be corrupted. You will witness miracles that cannot be denied. This is your sacred reward, and it is not just for a season. It is eternal. Chosen one, after the fire has risen and the furnace has proven you, there remains one last passage before the crown becomes your normal. Integration. This is where power stops behaving like an event and starts moving through you as a way of being. Revelation no longer arrives only as flashes. It settles in your bones like weather. Integration is not spectacle. It is the daily choosing of coherence until coherence becomes instinct. You have tasted transmutation. You have carried abstinence through the night. You have felt authority rest upon you like a mantle. But unless these realities are woven into breath, schedule, posture, and speech, they remain fragile. Integration is the sacred weaving of spirit, mind, and body. It is where midnight alignment now orders your mornings and steadies your quiet steps. Here you do not wake to chase experiences. You wake to keep covenant. Your first act is alignment, not urgency. Breath deep, spine tall, gaze clear. The fire that once surged now hums like a generator. Quiet, reliable. Rooms that used to drain you no longer set the terms. You set the temperature by presence. You do not soak up the noise. You tune the atmosphere. You choose truth over being understood. Integration demands humility. Authority without humility calcifies into pride, and overflow without humility curdles into display. So you choose the hidden way. Accuracy over exaggeration, service over spotlight, fruit over noise. You learn to carry miracles without making them about you. You let outcomes testify while you keep your heart unentitled, remembering who the power belongs to. Integration also demands vigilance. Old patterns do not vanish. They wait for permission. You deny that permission every day. You guard bedtimes and dawns. You treat water, food, and rest as part of worship, knowing a leaky vessel cannot carry holy fire. You retrain a body that once betrayed you, giving it new reflexes. Breathe before reacting, bless before judging, pause before promising. You become a keeper of gates, attention, and access. Relationships change here. You no longer confuse access with intimacy. Compassion no longer means absorption. Your boundaries are soft at the edges and steel at the core. You choose companions who celebrate discipline, not those who call it obsession. You honor those who move more slowly without allowing their pace to slow you. You stop auditioning for rooms you have outgrown. You love widely, but you partner carefully, because agreement is an engine and misalignment is a leak. Integration is also craftsmanship. You become meticulous with words, fewer syllables, fuller truth. You practice silence not as withdrawal, but as architecture, shaping space so wisdom can land. You move with economy, few emotions, deeper meaning. Your work becomes prayer, and your prayer becomes work. Excellence is no longer bait for attention. It is your offering to God. And still, integration keeps wonder alive. Power that cannot bow has already fallen. So you cultivate awe on ordinary days. You memorize the feel of peace and return to it 100 times. When the world grows loud, you place a hand on your chest and remember the presence that met you. In the furnace now inhabits the kitchen table and the commute. The day is not a ladder to climb, but a sanctuary to inhabit. Do not fear the slower music of this stage. Explosions are dramatic, but roots hold forests. Integration grows roots, deep enough to drink in drought, wide enough to anchor in storm. It is how a moment becomes a lifespan, how a spark becomes a hearth the generations can gather around. Here legacy begins, not as slogan, but as pattern. Children yet unborn will inherit peace because you chose coherence long after the applause faded. You will still be tested. Success will tempt you with flattery. Influence will tempt you with haste. Options will tempt you with dilution. You answer each test the way you answered temptation, with alignment. You choose pace over pressure, essence over image, assignment over appetite. And when you stumble, as all humans do, you return quickly. No drama, no spiral, because repentance is simply realignment, and alignment is now your home. This is the work. To let overflow serve purpose, to let authority serve love, to let gifts serve people, and to let all of it serve God. Integration is when the crown becomes invisible because it has become internal. You no longer reach for it. You wear it by being who you were forged to be, quietly radiant, profoundly human, unmistakably divine in your resonance. When you live here, you stop announcing what you carry. The fruit announces it for you. Environments soften, timelines accelerate. What once needed force now yields to coherence. And the path ahead, long hidden in fog, clears at the pace of your obedience. Integration does not end the journey. It makes you durable for it. And from this steadiness, the crown is not only placed, it remains. After fire, after silence, after the supreme test and the long road of refinement, you now stand at the threshold of your destiny. Look back for a moment. What you once called loss was training. What you thought was emptiness was planting. What the world mocked as foolishness has become the very proof of your wisdom. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. And now the preparation is complete. The vessel that was tested has been found worthy. The fire you carried in hidden places has become a mantle of authority. The discipline you practiced in silence has become the overflow of blessing. And what once felt like denial has now revealed itself as inheritance. This is the mystery of heaven. Nothing you sacrificed was wasted. Every tear, every ache, every lonely night has been turned into glory. You may not feel perfect. You may still tremble. You may still ask questions, but hear this clearly. Crowns are not given to the flawless, they are given to the faithful. And you, chosen one, have been faithful. You refused to bow when shadows pressed against you. You refused to yield when temptation roared. You refused to abandon your call when others mocked your path. And because of this, you are not just surviving, you are rising. The crown of glory is not only waiting for you in eternity. It begins now. It is the peace that will not break. It is the joy that cannot be stolen. It is the authority that shifts rooms without a word. It is the love that sanctifies rather than drains. It is the abundance that multiplies rather than vanishes. You are not entering a season of scarcity. You are entering a season of overflow, crowned and complete. And so I ask you to seal this moment with a declaration. Write one word in the comments. Glory. Let it echo in the unseen. Let it testify to your soul. Let it stand as proof that you accept what heaven has prepared for you. Do not let this moment pass in silence. Let your voice join the chorus of chosen ones rising across the earth. And if you have not yet, subscribe now, not for content, not for entertainment, but as a public declaration that you are part of the remnant who will not waste their fire. Every subscription is more than a click. It is a covenant. It is a signal to yourself, to heaven, and to the unseen that you are ready to live crowned, aligned, and unstoppable. Chosen one, the time is no longer coming. The time is here. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, refined, crowned. Step into it with fire in your spirit, peace in your soul, and the glory of heaven resting on your life. Rise now, shine now, walk crowned. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever stop you again.